Hi, my name is Paul Opitt. I'm talking to you today, December 15th, 2015, from the Vaccine Education Center here at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. What I thought we would talk about is something that happened over the last few months that I think most of you know about, which is that the state of California eliminated its philosophical exemption. Therefore, the only exemptions in California are medical exemptions. So why did they do that? The reason they did that is that Southern California, specifically Disneyland, served as the epicenter for what was a massive measles epidemic, one that spread across the United States involving about 25 states. It affected about 158 people, mostly children. It also extended up northward into 2 Canadian provinces where it affected hundreds of more people. And so I think what happened in California was they asked the question, is it your right to catch and transmit a potentially fatal infection? And they decided in California the answer was no. I think what's interesting is that they're the third state that this has happened to, that only has now medical exemptions. The other 2 are Mississippi and West Virginia. And the roots of this, I think, really are in Mississippi. Because if you look at a case that occurred in the late 1970s, it was called Brown v. Stone, the question came up in Mississippi, is it your right not to be vaccinated? And the decision was made that only medical exemptions made sense for this reason. It was a 14th Amendment argument, specifically the second clause of the 14th Amendment, which states that all citizens of the United States should have equal protection under the laws. Equal protection, even if it means that your parents have ill-founded beliefs about vaccine safety. That doesn't therefore mean that children shouldn't be protected. Essentially, it became what was a civil rights issue. If you go to these meetings in California, for example, these rallies in California or Vermont or Michigan, you often hear parents say it's about my rights. It's my parental right to raise my child as I see fit. But what about children's rights? I mean, who represents them? I think if in this country, for example, you're an African American and you feel that you're being treated badly, there are places you can go that will represent you. If you're Jewish and you feel that you're being defamed, there are groups you can go to who will defend you. But if you're a child, it's assumed that your parents represent your best interests, and that's not always true. And when it's not true, as is true in this case, where parents have, say, a false belief that vaccines cause autism and they don't want to vaccinate their child, who do those children go to? And I think the answer is they go to the state. And I think that's what happened, frankly, in California, which used basically a child's rights issue as the central focus of how they made that change. There was a little boy who had leukemia who would go to those meetings and say, what about me? Don't I have rights too? I can't be vaccinated. I depend on those around me to be vaccinated. So I think in the end, in many ways, this is a child's rights issue. It's a civil rights issue with a child. And I think it's a right that is protected by the 14th Amendment. Thank you for your attention.